almost 20 years since they called off their engagement, and now Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck could be back together. So the A-listers have been spotted spending what's thought to be a romantic weekend away together. And this comes just weeks after J-Lo split from sports star Alex Rodriguez. I think they were engaged as well. So, what do you think Alex might be making? I know you're very excited about this,
excited.
aren't you? I mean, like, more so than I would have expected. Like, when I say excited, she's like, oh, I'm so excited.
I just think they were really... I don't know why. I quite like the idea of, like, you know, when it's not worked out with other people and that they've both realised that actually they're still madly in love with each other and then they're going to get back together, and she's written, like, a whole album about him. A whole album. They could, like, get married and she could walk down the aisle.
Was the album about
song.
him, like, when she was with him, so it was lovely, or is it when they split up?
Oh, I don't know. I've not thought of that.
Because that could be really awkward.
No, it was when she was in love. It was when she was in love with him.
Right.
Still.
OK, Frankie, you have constructed an elaborate fantasy based on an out-of-focus picture of two heterosexuals sitting in the same car and also on the same private jet. And it could quite possibly be in the modern world that people could be, it'd be more interesting if they were civilised enough to spend the weekend together without having to go down the hanky-panky route.
Well, she could have just been whispering in his ear, like we were saying, like, there's a pap over there, rather than, like, whispering sweet nothing.
I like the fact you're very romantic about it, though. I'm like that.
I planned it all, Coleen.
Want it to be like a film, the ending of a film. It needs to be like,
they've realised how much they love each other.
Do you like the idea of them back together, then?
Yeah.
But what about... OK, so forget
I'm
them.
not like Frankie, I don't really care.
No, but forget them. But what about exes generally? Like, would you like it if you split up with your partner and then they ended up back with an ex?
No, so my thing with the whole ex issue is, A, depending on how you split up, B, depending on what age you split up. So if you went out with someone when you were late teens, early 20s, split up, and then you get to your 40s and you meet up and you think, actually, we were great together, that could have just been an age thing. You were too young then, you've lived your life, and now you can be together. But I do get a lot of letters about my ex has come back into my life and I don't know whether to leave my husband or my boyfriend because it's all romantic again. And I think it's a very, very dodgy situation to be in because they are your ex for a reason.
Don't you have to think, like, why were they your ex in the first place? Because if they were so wonderful and perfect for soulmates, why did you split up?
But if you're both single, you can explore it. I think it's dodgy when you're with someone and the other person comes back in and it is all roses and you only remember the good stuff. But if you're both single, you can figure that out and...
I know, but you can meet up with your ex and you can have a meal or a drink with them and you can see all their faults, but they're still, you know, you loved them once, so, you know, you could just be friends with them. As I said, that's the modern thing to do. You don't have to...
I love both my exes, as you know. I get on great with both my ex-husbands. And, and it's that. You go, well, you know what, forget about all the rubbish stuff that happened at the end. You know, the majority of the time, we had great times together, so I always focus on that, and I'm like, they're my...
It's funny that we've all got opinions on Ben and Jennifer, or Benifer, as the youngsters call them. That's probably Frankie calls them Benifer. You know, because it's interesting when friends get involved, isn't it, and have an opinion. And Matt Damon, who is a friend of Ben Affleck's, he's got involved now. This is what he thinks about it. He hopes it's true. It's true. But then the problem is... So he said that, they're lovely together, I hope it's true. Say they have got back together and then they split up again. And then you've got that awkward thing like, I thought that was great. You know, or a friend says to you, we split up, and then you go, well, good, I never liked him in the first place. And then a week later, they're back together. Have you ever done that? Like, make an opinion?
Lost me at the beginning of that, to be fair.
I've done that.
I don't know what you mean.
I've done that, and I've stayed with people when all my friends have said they're really terrible, they're really terrible. And the more they've said that the person I'm with is a nightmare, please come to your senses, then obviously I married that particular person.
That's quite a niche situation.
And then I realised that, though, actually all my friends were right, and then I had to go around and grovel. And, you know, that's something you don't see often on this show, actually, me grovelling.
Never. I don't think I've ever witnessed that.
It was really, really scarring.
I think there's nothing worse, though, when you're like, when you are ranting about someone, whether they're your ex or the person you're with, and then having a friend that just keeps reminding you how nice they are. Like, if I'm having a moan about Wayne, I want someone to join in with me, because I know he's a good person and I know he's lovely, but you want them to be able to be like, yeah, I know, what an idiot. And then a good friend will then go, if you're back in love with them the next day, just be like, yeah,
I
really
had
lovely.
friends like that when I was going through something. My really, really close friends, they loved them when I loved them and they hated them when I hated them. And I thought, I used to go to bed at night and think they're really good friends.
A girl code.
The other thing is, if someone keeps slagging them, even though you're in a mood and I hate him and he's done this and he's done this, they keep slagging them and then you go, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Back off. It's not your husband.
Yeah, I have to say, I learnt, actually, to keep my opinions to myself, because I've had situations like that with friends where I've told them what I thought about that boyfriend, husband, whatever, and then they've got back together or stayed, and I think that's really... So now I'm a very good listener. I'm a very good sounding board, and if they ask my advice, I would tell them what I think, but even that, I would be quite subdued.
Well, let's hope it's true.
Let's hope it's true. OK, well, we'll see. Frankie wants